Hi, this is Joseph. Today is Friday. It's March 22nd. So these are the trades for today. This is a 5-minute chart. I'm trading the S&P. For those of you who are new, this is one of the first videos that you've ever watched. I'm trading the S&P and I trade it on funded accounts with different companies like Apex and other companies that offer pretty much the same thing. I like Apex because like everybody knows you can trade 20 accounts. So once you get that figured out, once you can do it consistently, it's pretty nice to be able to trade, accounts and manage that much money. So anyway, I talk in detail about how to set that up. If you're interested, you can go to Apex website. You can find out how you connect all 20 accounts. They have a trade copier that they sell. It's $150. It's a good trade copier. I use it. Anyway, these are the trades that I set up, or these are the trades that set up for me, and these are the trades that I execute. So this is, if you've been watching, let's just say for this past week, I've uploaded a video every week, and I've shown the trades. Now, I haven't had any losing trades, but first of all, before I go any further, that doesn't guarantee that I'm never going to have a losing trade. Like I'm not here, making this video to say I didn't have any losing trades this week. I just do what I'm supposed to do. And I worked long and hard to come up with a system that I can repeat. And to be able to come up with the system, some of you are probably familiar with SMB Capital and the book that Mike Bellafiore wrote a long time ago. It's called he's written two, but the playbook. So every trader, if you're serious about trading, if you want to do it forever, if you want to replace your current source of income, if you want to make a lot of money from trading, you got to take it serious. You got to trade as serious as the prop firm traders at S&P Capital. And if you don't know what I mean, go to S&P Capital's YouTube channel and watch some of the videos where you hear some of those traders, what they actually go through to become successful and profitable. I think a lot of retail traders miss that whole concept. They miss the whole idea of how serious this is, how important it is, and it's easy to skip over it because we see all these idiots out there who start these YouTube channels and they might have a winning streak and they post that winning streak and that's all you see and you think that's all there is to it. And they're out, running around renting Lamborghinis or buying them, whatever it is that they're doing, and they're not taking the work serious. Like you compare those guys to the prop firm traders at S&B Capital. All you got to do is do that. You don't have to listen to me. Just compare those two and see who you would prefer to listen to, and then try to gather your ideas and try to piece together your ideas of how serious trading is and what it actually requires. That's what all of the retail traders are missing. There's way too many marketing gimmicks and messages out there, and to have a trader and I'm going to include myself with that. So I haven't had any losing trades this week. Now it's very possible that if I wasn't serious about my business, that this week with no losing trades could have just been a winning streak, which just means it's kind of like a lucky streak. That's how I look at it. I honestly would put myself in the same category if I was not doing the work. I would say that this week, if I wasn't doing the work the way the traders at S&B Capital do, those professional prop firm traders, if I'm not willing to do that kind of work, then this week was just a lucky streak. That's it. And next week I might not, or maybe it'll take another week or maybe 2 weeks until I start having, a major drawdown. Like that's what happens to a lot of traders. But if you put in the work and the time to build your business correctly, you can reduce the number of times that you go through that experience where you have a winning streak and then major drawdowns and you don't, go on tilt and you self implode. Like it's not necessary if you take this serious and you know where your weaknesses are and you work on fixing them and find help or find out what other people, professionals, what they're actually doing. So I talk about mindset before you get in there, before you think you're going to get 20 Apex accounts. It's great. You can do it. You can do it right now, but I wouldn't recommend doing it. Not if you're not ready. Not if you can't consistently trade just one Apex account consistently and get the payout without experiencing these major drawdowns to the point where you blow up the account. A lot of people do that and then they just go right back in and buy another account. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm interested in. So you're going to find that if you watch my videos, you'll see that it might appear pretty boring compared to some of the other people. The reason that it's so boring is that I just repeat the same thing over and over again. And I know what that same thing is because I dissected this trade, studied this trade, and got the data. It took me a long time to acquire the data. And I'm not talking about just handwriting in a journal how I felt and how I did and what my profit and loss. That's kind of like just a P&L statement if that's what you're doing with your journal. I'm talking about getting a journal, a legit journal, just like the traders at S&P Capital, like TraderView, and put your trades in there, dissect those trades, and do this for a long time, however long it takes, until you have enough data that you can figure out what your edge is, and if you are actually trading some kind of pattern or technique that you know when the ideal conditions are, and you know that you have edge in that trade. Edge meaning that you're going to consistently earn profits. Like it's that positive expectation that if you find that trade and you do nothing else, that trade is going to make you and get you the results that you can count on and bet on, because the numbers tell you that. The data in your trader view platform will show you that that's what you can generate. So I'll stop there. I'll leave it there, but I'll just go to say that I only had one trade. This blue dot right here is the first bar. It's the first 5-minute bar when the stock market opens. That's 9:30 New York time. My charts read 6:30 because I'm in California. This red diamond, that's bar number 6. I say it, and a lot of other traders. I'm not the guy who invented it. Like I just saw the numbers on my trader view, like or in my other journal that I was keeping on my computer. I could see that when I was experiencing some challenges, very often my losing trades occurred before bar 6, which is before 10 o'clock New York time. All I had to do was look at the data, and I sat there and I went, duh, like that's the just stop trading between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Don't trade between, this is what I was telling myself. Don't trade between 9:30 and 10. See what happens. So I did that for the week after when I realized that, and I saw dramatic improvements. The stress went away, and I saw that most days, not every day, because there are days after the first 5-minute bar, it breaks out in trends. It just keeps going. We see that. Like, I know what that pattern looks like, but it'll take you some time to get that. But often you'll see this move. You'll see the first 5-minute bar set in, and then it just kind of goes sideways. And there really isn't any setup there for me. There's no trade. I'm not saying that there isn't profitability in those ranges or between the first 30 minutes. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for me, in order for me to clear up my trading and my mind and to get more to develop more confidence in what it is that I was doing and to be able to consistently get payouts so that I could go after companies like Apex and to sit back and say, can I actually get 20 Apex accounts, whether it's a $50,000 account or a $300,000 account? Can I actually justify and tell myself and think and really believe that I should be doing that right now? Like, is that something that I'm capable of doing? And the way to do that is to know that you have edge when you find your trades. I don't have any edge here. There's nothing for me. There's no setup for me. Other people can scalp that, and they might do really well on some days, and other days they'll give it back. And I'm not interested in doing that. I used to do that, but I don't want to play that game anymore. Like, that's not what I do. I haven't been doing that for a long time. So I found a particular pattern and a particular setup that's based on the context. So what you see here, you see that red square right there? That's bar 18. I talk about bar 18 quite a bit in my chat room. Bar 18 is significant to me, and I mentioned it just yesterday. Sometimes bar 18 has an impact, and sometimes bar 18 doesn't have any impact at all. Today, that's why I was happy to make this video. I wanted to show this because I've been talking about it, right? Every day I talk about bar 18, and some days I just skip right over it because it means nothing, and other days it actually produces an opportunity. Here, it produced an opportunity. Well, if you've been trading for a little while, you can clearly see what this pattern is right here, and you can see what I was doing. And there is my trade signal. There's my trigger bar right there. It's that it's a silly little word. I was, being a dork the day I wrote it down when I said that's my clamp up bar, but that meant something to me. That was my trigger. That was my signal. When I figured out this strategy and this method, where's my edge? What happens after something like this, where there could be a reversal and a decent reversal that could get me a 5.25 point trade? It's that clamp up bar or that clamp down bar. Sometimes it's a pin bar, but I haven't seen those lately, right? Again, just like all the other times, it's my clamp up bar on a 5-minute chart. Everything's ideal. If you go back and look at my videos, it's exactly what I always say. Number one, that clamp up bar, that 5-minute bar right there, has to close above all the other bars over here to the left. The more bars, the better. including I'm looking at specifically like the bodies of those bars. In this case, it could be 6 bars. I would like to see it, be in some cases it's been 12 bars. I don't have any control over that, but this was also a double bottom, creating the W bottom and creating this 1, 2, 3 push pattern right there before it reversed. There's my signal right there. In addition to that, that bar is also closing above the 20-day EMA on the 5-minute chart. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I can go over here to the left and I can see everything that took place since bar one when the market opened. This is my setup. And I know that when I get that trade, all I got to do is trust the process. It's going to give me a 5.25 point trade. That's my initial target. That's my first target. So I drew a price marker right here so you can see where the 5.25 point target was. Didn't have any problem hitting that target. I had to wait a little while, but it didn't have any problem. And I'm managing this trade. This is, I guess I would call it part two of the trade. After I get into the trade, I'm going to manage the position. So then I had to go in and I had to learn how to manage a position. What does that mean? To me, it meant I was giving back too much profit. Or in other words, not giving back. I was not holding onto the trade and losing out on getting more profits on a trade like this. That's what I should have said. I'm sorry about that. Not that I was giving back any profits. What I'm saying is that I didn't know how to hold on to a trade when it's trending. So then I had to go out and figure out what does it look like? What does a pullback in a trend look like? And does a pullback, 1 bar, 2 bars, does that mean the trend's over? And we know it's not. So then I studied that for a while. So I refer to Bill McLaren. Look him up, Bill McLaren or William McLaren. He talks about analyzing and studying the trades. What I get out of his work is that no trader fully or completely understands a trend until he understands the counter trend. Or you understand the trend. I guess I should be a little more accurate. You understand the trend, but you could do even better. Do you want to be even better? I wanted to be even better. I wanted to be able to maximize my trades and know when that trend is likely, when it's telling me that I should take profits and close down the whole trade. And I'm done. So that was up here, and it ended up because of my ability to analyze the trend as it unfolds, and as it goes to my 5.25 point target, can I hold for a little bit longer? There are some days when I do this and I manage the trade and I call it managing the 5-minute trend. So I'm managing that trend as it unfolds. My initial target is 5.25 points. You'll notice that I wasn't trading this chop in here because I would just be scalping for 1.25, maybe 2 points if I'm lucky. Like every time it's different. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find a trade where I know this is it. It's either a breakout and it's going to keep going, or it's a reversal and it's going to go. And it's going to go to that expected target. I know this because I have the data, not because I go off of my feelings and a few sentences that I wrote in a journal. I have to have the data in order for me to figure this out. I know that I can do this 10 times out of 10. I'm not saying that I'm never going to have a losing trade. I will, and I do occasionally, but I can get back that loss really quick. And I know when to load up on my positions. This is my A plus trade. This is my 90-10 trade. People have different words for it. Either one, right? 90-10 meaning that with a 90% chance that thing's going. I know it. Just occasionally, maybe it won't. Maybe I misread it. Maybe I misjudged it. Whatever the case is. But this is my A plus trade. This is the one I can put on size. This is the one where I can step in and go, that's my trade. Like, here I go. And I don't have to trade all of this chop, hoping and hoping and hoping. I just wait. I'm not hoping for a trade. I just wait for it to look. So I've got this sign on my wall in my office. It reads, "Watch without thinking. Just look for the pattern. Wait for the setup and then execute the trade." Underneath that, I added this saying a long, long time ago that just says, I finished that by saying, "Do this 10,000 times and study the losses. Study the losses so you can get better." But basically, that's what I'm doing. I'm just watching without trying to predict anything. I'm not thinking, I'm just looking for the pattern. That's all that I'm doing here. And that's what I talk about in my chat room. I go through this over and over and over again. It's consistency. And then I got to work really, really hard to make sure that I'm consistent. So I got to sleep right. I got to maintain, my office, outside of the office, the whole family vibe, the whole thing. Everything's got to be in line. I don't want to be distracted. I'm not going to show up hungover. I'm not going to stay up late. I'm going to do this over and over and over again because I'm putting on size on this trade right here. Size, meaning that I'm not trading one micro lot or one, mini lot or whatever that might be, whatever it is to you. Like all I'm saying is I'm not comparing myself to you or anybody else. I'm just saying that you can scale up to do this. You can scale up to do this, but it's going to take hard work and you need to study. You need to practice. So along the way, you can see that black bar right there where I'm moving my cursor. That wasn't, that does not say to me that the trend is over. The next black bar does not say that the trend's over. It's just a 1 bar pullback. That's it. It's just a counter move. I studied that, so I know I can keep on holding. Up here, these bars right here start to look a little interesting. This looks different. And then that pullback right there, that's where I closed out the trade. The other reason that I closed out the trade, that's the high right there, that pink line, that's the high of the first 5-minute bar. It doesn't mean that it always stops there. That's not what I'm saying at all. Some days it does, some days it doesn't. But I'm sensitive to the idea that I've got to sit up and pay attention to this and watch to see what it's telling me. The next level, if it didn't show in these bars right here that it was starting to slow down, if it looked strong, the bars are closing, similar to what you see on this push here. If it looked like it was going to keep going, the next level is this green line. This green line right here is last night's closing price. Sometimes it has an impact. Sometimes it goes right through there and stops. Sometimes it goes, goes right to it and stops. Other times it goes right through it. Other times it'll fall just short of it like it did today and pull back. Whatever the case is, I see that there's an area of resistance here. It's Friday. It's late in the day. I'm done. I'm done. And so is a lot of other traders. So I can't expect this thing to tear on through. Now, it's very possible in the very, very last 15 minutes, it will do just that. I don't care. I did what I came here to do. I was able to find my one trade, my A+ trade, the one that belongs in my playbook, and execute that trade. That's what I talk about. So I'm sharing all this in this video to let you know this is what I do in the chat room. This is what I talk about. Like I hammer this stuff all the time. I talk about that this is how it needs to be done, not my way, but this is how you have to structure your way. And I share all of that in my chat room. So if you're kind of tired of scalping, if you're tired of jumping in and out and having some losing trades and some winning trades, if you're tired of losing in the first 30 minutes and then having to spend the rest of the day making it all back just to hopefully you could be at break even and start again the next day. Like if you're tired of doing that, consider going into my chat room for at least 30 days. Just try it for 30 days and see if it's for you. This is what I do every day. I don't make it up. I show it right there on the charts. I talk about it. I explain it. As this is all happening, all of, a couple of hours that goes by, I keep telling everybody, I see the movement. I see where it's likely to go, but it's just not giving me that signal. If it's not giving me that signal, I don't trust that it's going to go to the 5.25 point target. And if it's going to go to the 5.25 point target, maybe it's going to go further. Maybe it's going to develop into some kind of trend. Some trends are longer than others. They're bigger than others. Some are shorter than others. It all depends. Today, could we expect a big 27-point move like earlier in the week or 42 like we've had a while back? Not today. Not today. I mean, we got to take all of these things into consideration and just slow down and watch without thinking. Just look for the pattern and do what I'm supposed to. But it doesn't come easy, right? You got to develop what that pattern is, what your edge is, what your specific trade setup is. And it's the data that'll tell you if you're actually any good at it and where you need to improve. That's what's really important. I share that as well, how to figure those things out. That's what I had to do. I had to go through that process. It'll change you. It'll change you if you go through that process. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you listening to me rant and go on. I know sometimes it gets old, but trading is consistency, and trading is doing the same thing over and over again and making sure that you can control yourself so that you do perform at an optimum level and you can do it over and over again at that optimum level and not letting things start to slide. It changes everything. Thanks for watching.